the firing of your neurons in activity to give your body some direction, but not the source of the direction. All right? You talk about things like Mosaic law, even Kemetic law. You talk about things such as history. You talk about things such as genetics. And the list goes on and on and on. You are talking about things that are subservient to the terrestrial plane, to this particular dimension. And you can be a master of all of this. You can know that there's only 10 commandments here, and that, you know, in Kemet there are far more commandments, right? 42 negative confessions, 142 this, the netu neter. You can know all of that. But here's the key. This is moving at the speed of materiality. And so in your embracing history and all of this, you may be wiser than the next person, but you are still subservient to the conditions of this plane. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
And anybody that understands that you are subservient to the conditions of that plane only need to elevate their frequency to a higher dimension in order to continue to control you, irrespective of what you know on that plane.
That's right.
So if this is moving at the speed of physicality, then anything that moves at the speed of sound is going to supplant this.
Yes.
So it is quite natural that media rules us. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because sound is not what they're telling you.
That's right. That's right.
It's the fact that you are still listening.
Woo!
That you are still subservient to that. And that is how you receive your news. And without them, there is no news.
Wow.
This is why you rule. This is controlling your bank account.
That's right. Come on.
Because wealth is a currency.
That's right.
And if you have to watch a market
That's right.
to determine what your money is going to do, you're still a slave.
That's right.
Wow.
And only a very small percentage of people on this plane understand that.
That's right.
And if they do understand it, they don't exist just on this plane. So you move from the speed of sound to the speed of light. All right?
Yeah.
So now you've gone wireless.
That's right.
Now you are moving into spirituality and emotionalism.
Yeah.
But still, if I can control your emotions, I can control you.
That's right.
If I can determine what makes you smile, what makes you laugh, what you feel is popular, what you feel is important, I control you still.
Right.
So I move from the speed of sound, from the speed of light, and they've actually been able to measure the speed of thought.
Right.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thought is still a mechanism of in construction or architecture of movement.
That's right.
And so here, irrespective to where you are in this plane, you are still subservient to time. Because time begins where motion begins. But the one space that they are not able to attain control over unless you give it to them is the level that moves at the speed of feeling. And this is where your mind can dwell. This is the unified energy field. And what people refer to as soul is really the psyche or suke in the original language. So if I can raise my frequency and move beyond the psychology that my life is dependent upon what I see or touch. Now, when I say feeling, I'm not talking about the physicality of feeling. I'm talking about the mental state where you are already whatever you want to be. You already have whatever you want to have in your mind. And you see your mind as the laboratory by which everything is manifested in that plane.
Wow.
So that if you want to experience love, you don't look for a body or somebody. You experience the feeling within the womb of your mind, and it will manifest what you know to be fact in your mind into the terrestrial plane. In other words, you are reversing the engineering of your life so that you are determining what you want. Now listen. You're determining that what you want will be manifested. Now listen. The reason this is so important is that when you look at the greatest people of history, including the Kemits, those that lived in the Atlanteans and all these people that had all of these wonderful things that they still haven't figured out how to do, they don't understand that they did these things through mind. They want to keep you in a psychology of genealogy, of history. Are you listening to me? Of nationalism. Because as long as you do that, they can measure your vibrational frequency. But at the very moment you take it to your intent and it becomes in your mind that you achieve, then it changes everything. You become an unstoppable force. There is nothing that you can't achieve through your mind. Now, in order for me to control your mind, I've got to keep something on your mind.
Wow.
Here we go.
I need you to think about something. I need you to worry about something.
Yeah.
I need you to judge something. Do you realize that the concept of duality is a chain on your mind where you walk around thinking about what's good and what's bad? That in actuality, when you look at your child and determine whether the child is good or bad, that you have already stagnated the vibrational flow of success to the child?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So we don't deal with good or bad.
That's right.
We don't deal with heaven or hell. We deal with functional and dysfunctional. We don't deal with fact. There is no such thing as fact. If the only concept in the universe that is true is change, then fact has to be a lie. And if I solidify fact, then I have frozen my own consciousness and kept myself from moving at the speed of thought. So even if I see it in the terrestrial plane, I won't accept it.
That's right.
Unless it is in my own best interest. And every successful person, they may go to church on Sunday, that's just a facade.
Right.
Y'all not listening to what I'm telling you. All of the successful people, all of the 5%, the 1%, whatever you want to call them, all these people have all of these different facades that they give you the impression that they are on your level. But in reality, they all have one thing in common, whether it's Oprah or Trump. Right? They all have one thing in common, and that one thing in common is the use of mind power, of mind science.
That's it.
This is a concept that has not been equitized to the masses. You don't get this in school.
That's right.
You don't get this in college. Well, you don't get this in the Bible. You get it in the holy books, but you have to dissect the book in order to see it there. Well, why would they even put it in there? That is because they understand the laws of the universe in karma.
And karma.
That if I hide it from you and you don't find it, it doesn't mean I didn't give it to you.
That's it. That's it.
There you go.
Oh boy, but they in trouble now. For a limited time only. On this channel near you, we're going to give you the divine truth of this science. Akshay? Now that we understand that the science of mind is the absolute power that is really ruling the universe, let's talk about, well, how do I think? Right thought. The universal consciousness speaking through one of those books that we were talking about earlier, right? Doesn't matter whether it's the Quran, doesn't matter whether it's the Bible, doesn't matter whether it's the Tao, they're all the same, but they're all the same thing.
That's right.
They're all the same thing, just different editors. Same concept. You can take it or let it alone. It's the truth. One of those scriptures says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you might prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." Stop. What is my soul?
Come on.
Uh-oh. See, your soul is your psyche or your suke. And if you think it's some imaginary ghost being living inside of you, you will miss the science of what is being said. That it is a key right here, one of the many keys, that as my psyche prospers, as my vibrational frequency and my psyche prospers, so will my health prosper, so will my finances prosper. All because of my psyche. Now that's not brain.
Come on, say it. Break it down. Break it down.
Brain is hard.
That doesn't mean the more I learn, the more I prosper.
Right. Come on, say it.
Because see, you have some educated fools. You got people that have gone to school for 15 years, have every doctorate known to man, and are still depressed, still broke. That's not what this is talking about. As my psyche that is on the unified energy field in consciousness, as I understand how to raise the frequency of that, everything else works.
Yes, sir. Yup.
Another scripture. I know the plans I have for you.
Yes.
Plans. When did these plans come about?
Right.
You had an architectural design for what you would do before you got here. See, this is what makes it fair. It's unfair where you were born, unfair who your parents were. If you didn't choose them before you got here for the divine purpose for which you came.
That's right.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Oh my God. You'll say it again.
That's right.
It would be unfair if you didn't choose it. But the fact that you chose your parents
That's right.
before the foundations of the world, before you came through the triple darkness of womb, you said, I will make myself a body.
That's right. That's right. That's it.
I will fashion myself this way, attain this knowledge, and expand and multiply myself through a toil and a sojourn. Right?
Yes. That's
I will be buried in a shallow grave. But the master grip of my mind will raise me from a dead level to a living perpendicular. And when I have been enlightened, I will convert others to a higher multiplication of self. I didn't come here just to play around. I came to multiply God. Why do you say that? Because I am God.
Thank you.
And besides you, there is no other. You are made in the image and the likeness of God. You are the I am.
I am.
And you are here to multiply self.
Yes.
So that everything might be a reflection of you.
Of me.
But somebody, an enemy, have done this. Has lied to you and kept you in prison in a psychology that gets you to accept a lesser version of yourself. To the extent you worship an idol God. A God meant to die rather than the energy source that is you. I know the plans I have for you. I ordained you. Right? I knew you before I formed you in the womb. Now this is you talking to you. Now y'all, you know, you didn't get that. You said to yourself.
Say it. Go ahead. Say it.
You're looking at yourself. And you're saying to yourself, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And I ordained you to be rich. I ordained you to have connection. I ordained you to have love. Before I formed you in the womb. Think about this. Think about this. You came at your own discussion with self. Formed yourself in the womb and ordained what you would have. I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you.
Right.
Plans to give you hope and a future. So what does this mean for us? It's saying that it is your duty, your obligation as God, your obligation as yourself, that whatever dimension you're on, whatever dimension you find yourself, your job is to attain the highest of its commodities. That's your job. Right. That whatever dimension you're on, if you leave this dimension and you move to another dimension, and the highest commodity that you can achieve on that dimension, right, is a loaf of bread, you should have a stockroom full of bread. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Every dimension that you are on, you are supposed to achieve and multiply until you have the best. Right. You are never supposed to feel guilty for having what you deserve to have.
Thank you.
You will have people, friends, neighbors, family, that when you are living in this science and you begin to achieve all of these wonderful things, they will make you almost feel embarrassed to be around them because you are so successful in this science.
That's right.
How many of you know that? How many of you experienced that already? See?
Yeah.
It will be difficult for them to see you so in love.
Right.
You'll tell your significant other, no, let's not hug too much around them. You know, they don't have nobody. I better not wear this out. This might look, I might look too good in this.
Right.
Come on, man.
That's true.
Wow.
And you're hiding your greatness.
Right.
It's placing your light, right, under a bushel. But you keep coming here, and that fire is going to get so much, it's so fiery, so powerful, it's going to burn up the hell out that bush. And you ain't going to be able to put nothing over your life.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, it's good teaching.
You're teaching it. You're telling it.
See, when you attain the highest commodity, it don't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. You become irresistible because a commodity has its equivalent market value irrespective of who the one is producing it. Y'all don't get that.
That's right.
See, when you start to achieve commodities on this level, it will not matter where you live, what you look like, who you talk to, they will have to buy from you. When you achieve a certain level of magnetization, there is nothing they can do to you. And it is known, and this is why they replaying Roots. This is why you got to keep going over Black History Month. This is, hell yeah, this is why. This is why you got to keep building me some churches. This is why you got to keep telling me how many of us in jail is more in jail than in college. Because you realize that if I ever discovered that in my mind,
Come on, man. Come on.
in my mind, I have the commodity that you must buy and which every knee must bow.
Yeah, come on.
Every tongue has to confess that you are the God when you start using your mind. You all right?
Yeah.
You attain this state through biovibrational science using the science of mind. It is not new. It is not a fad. It is forgotten. I'm going to say it again. It is not new. It is not a fad. It is what we have forgotten. It is not your God that was stolen. You forgot your God a long time ago because you were the God. It was not your name that was stolen. Because your name is really your purpose. The name is, your real name is the purpose for which you came into the earth. Not what mama named you, not what somebody, Baba renamed you or any of that. Your real name is the purpose for which you are called, because name is really an action. Y'all gonna get there in a minute. It's not what father or mother calls you. Right? It's the action for which you came. In order to experience mind science now, you must put away childish things. So all of the definitions on that terrestrial plane, must be put away. What do you mean? Roles and labels of society based on gender, based on race, based on titles. Diagnosis. You got to put that away. You cannot diagnose God. You have to come to a psychology where you say to yourself, I give me my life. No one can take my life away from me unless I lay it down. Stop. That's not a person 2,000 years ago speaking. That is your eternal consciousness, your mind, your purpose speaking through you at this very moment. Nobody can take your life unless you give it to them. Now, as soon as you doubt that, you give them power. You understand?
Yes.
We got to do away with childish things. The definitions of age. Right? Age is an illusion.
An illusion.
My wife was telling me yesterday about a man that was trapped in a freezer that was not operable, was not turned on. Do you know that man froze? The man froze to death. Somebody know the story? With the freezer off. His mind. Oh, man. Come on, man. All of these roles are meaningless, useless, elementary distractions. You understand this? Doesn't matter if you celebrate your birthday. It's just a problem when you get sad over chronological order, when you are in universal order. I had a man the other day. I was sitting in a meeting, and he says, Robert? What, Robert? I said, Robert, how old are you? I said, well, I'm close. I'm just about 50. Since you need an age. 50? For the next hour and a half, this man is asking me, how in the world is that accurate? But that's even a discussion you don't want to have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you understanding what I'm saying? Because the real answer is you're ageless.
That's right. That's right.
When you start to look at yourself as ageless, you will age less. There you go. You determine the value and the place of every variable based on its impact to your purpose. The only meaning, the only definition for any variable of life is what it means in terms of you accomplishing your purpose.
Right.
Now, you must be careful of the daily social hypnosis. Every day, you run the risk of being hypnotized by people. And one of the key elements, this is the secret life of thought. Because you don't even realize that the thoughts of other people are actually infringing upon your territory, that they are trespassing in your mind.
That's right.
They have jumped over the barbed wire fence of consciousness and are in your backyard playing in your mind, and you don't even realize it. Because the thoughts are not, see, what Khalil Gibran said, that when a thought is expressed in words, it becomes half murdered.
Yes.
That's
Taint
it.
it. Taint
That's
it.
it.
This is one of the reasons that prayer is such an inept way to manifest. Meaning that to speak it with your mouth. Because as you're uttering it, the thought is being half murdered in the process of moving from the celestial plane down into the terrestrial plane. See, in other words, I need you to feel what I'm saying more than I need you to hear what I'm saying. Oh, man. Daily hypnosis. You're going through daily hypnosis. Mesmerism and hypnotism is but one form of mental tyranny. We, being mesmerized, unconsciously allow our own mind to be displaced, cut off from control of our actions, while other thoughts uses our will as if it were their own.
Oh my goodness.
Now, how do they do this? How do people do this? Because some people are doing this by design, and some people are doing this not by design, but just because we're not educated and they're not educated in the science of mind. Okay. And some people, if they knew they could do this, they would do it more often. You understand?
Yes.
They fix your attention on some subject which captures your attention via subconscious need. Stop. So when you are dealing with people who are actually able to influence you, they first encapsulate you by discussing something with you or dealing about something with you that captures your subconscious mind based on a need. So if I didn't have a father in my life, right, I can easily be persuaded by some religious leader who is posing as a father figure who encapsulates my mind, and I'm not really looking at him.
Right.
Or I'm not really looking at her or even hearing what they are saying. I'm really just dealing with my subconscious need for a father figure. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
And so they can direct me to do things, and I'm not really following the direction or analyzing what they're asking me to do. I'm simply acting upon the subconscious need that I have in my life.
Right.
Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
So they say you go out and rob a bank, right? Or you go out and do something wrong, and I'm doing it. But I don't realize that the reason I'm doing it is not because of them or the direction of them, but the need I have, which they have tapped into by the position that they placed themselves in. Are you seeing this?
Yes.
I know that's a little. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
So this is what is happening. They fix your attention on a subject which captures your attention via subconscious or emotional standard. It could be something that you stand for that they seem to represent.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Now, I want you to understand that this is not just child's play. I mean, this is why people that say, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I cheated. I don't know why I stole. I don't know why I made a bad grade. I don't know where my concentration went.
Right.
Are you seeing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that at some point, they became hypnotized by something that was controlling their mind beyond them.
That's it.
Because many times people are acting in a manner that has nothing to do with the real them, but the psychology of somebody else that's trying to rule them, that is implanting thoughts in their mind. Are you seeing this?
Wow.
That they would not normally have allowed into their mind had they been aware that this science was real. So, they alleviate your defenses because you don't know you have a need to be defensive. You don't realize that you need to have a barrier between you and the people you're dealing with. You don't realize that. To you, this is the same person you've been dealing with your whole life.
That's right.
This is the same parent, this is the same child, this is the same brother-in-law, sister, whatever. You're not seeing that in their mind, their concentration on you doing something the way they want or thinking about yourself the way they want you to think. You don't realize that that's having the level of impact that it is on you. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
They place their mind in the attitude of must towards you. In other words, when they think about what they want you to do, they think, okay, I want him to do this. I want him to feel like this. Are you seeing this?
Yes, sir.
I want you to move in this direction. They don't have to tell you that. They simply have to think that, and you simply have to walk into the room with a blank slate.
Wow.
You walk into the room with a blank slate, that thought can fill your mind. And if you don't feel the need or even know that you need to defend your mind, they will actually rule your mind. Right? Because it's a blank slate. Are you seeing this?
Yep.
This is how good people do stupid things.
That's right.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is how people get themselves into trouble and then turn around and say, now I know that I am very intelligent.
That's right.
I know that I have great business savvy. How did I end up with you?
That's right. Yeah.
How did I end up in this situation? It's because nobody has taught us the science of mind and the defense mechanisms necessary that we need to employ on a daily basis to protect our minds from hostile takeover, hypnosis, and mesmerism.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they place their attitude. Okay, so they alleviate your defenses because you don't know you need to have any.
Yeah.
And then they create it, and when they get inside, it creates a subservient temperament in you. In other words, when you walk around with a subservient temperament as it relates to the practice of defending your mind, then you become indefensible. And people can get you to do things or feel things that you wouldn't normally feel. You literally have to get up each day and say to yourself, today I'm going to protect my mind. I'm not going to allow anybody to manipulate me or make me feel like I have to do something that I don't want to do. Or make me feel guilty because I don't want to do something that's in their best interest but not in my best interest. I'm not going to allow myself to put anybody to put me in a position where my countenance is lowered or my disposition falls, right? Because I don't want to be what you want me to be, right? That causes me to go home and have an unhappy home, or an unhappy child, or an unhappy life because I'm what you want me to be. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
You have to get up with that mindset, because if you don't get up with that mindset, you are not walking out the house with the whole armor of consciousness on. You understand?
Yes.
We ain't talking about the whole armor of God where you strapping up your physical body or your soul or your spirit. We're talking about strapping up on your mind so that people cannot put anything in your head. Because every day you're supposed to be focusing on what is it that you want to manifest.
Okay.
What is it that you want to manifest? And all of this other stuff is a distraction from that. Got it?
Right.
They place their mind in the attitude of must towards you. They're saying in thought to you, you must do this, or think of yourself in this situation. If you succumb, you would think that you act on your own accord when it's really their will. You will be saying, I'm sorry to somebody for something somebody else put in your mind.
Wow.
How many times have you done things that was not even in your mind to do until somebody else introduced it?
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
That was not even your modus operandi. But somehow you got into that situation because somebody convinced you to do it. Now you say, well, doesn't that make me weak? See, now you're getting into good and bad. We're talking about functional and dysfunctional. If you allow yourself to feel perpetually guilty, you will not be using your mind. You have to do away with childish things. And those kinds of psychologies keep you grounded to earth. And they will be saying ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Right? Because that's the level you're operating on. Are you seeing that? When you talk about being separate from the body, to be separate from the body is to be in the presence of the mind.
That's right.
So wherever you are in your body, in your mind, mentally, that's where you will be. However you become absent from the body, whether that's in meditation, right, or whether that's in death or sleep. Wherever your mind is, that's where you will be. You see this? So the body can be dead, and yet the man will live, because the mind doesn't sleep. You see this?
That's right.
Only if you have made up your mind that you would not be ruled will you prevent being influenced and controlled by those in society, where the process of control of mind over mind is continually going on. This is an ongoing issue. Now, right action. Mind science is not always an elevator. Many times when we want to manifest something, we want it to happen overnight. Because you say, well, if the mind science works, why do I have to wait on my manifestation? the manifestation is already present. The manifestation is not to come. It already is here. The kingdom of God is at hand. What you are going through is you are going through the step-by-step process necessary for you to sustain, because the universe will not give you anything you can't sustain. In other words, there are certain psychologies that you have to overcome. Certain levels that you have had a problem with. So let's look at this. So if you have the elevator concept, you just go straight up to your manifestation. Now we're talking about you getting something in your mind that you want to manifest, whatever that is. All of us have different things we want to manifest. We want to see it tomorrow.
That's right.
Right? I want to be in love tomorrow. Right? I want to be wealthy tomorrow.
Yeah.
But what we don't realize is that manifestation warrants your competence at current levels of these factors. One of them is opposition. See, at each level you go up, you're going to have different levels of opposition. The people you're fighting with right now are going to be elevated, an elevated foe on the next level. So if you go from ground zero all the way up to here and you're not even able to take the criticism that you have on this level, what do you think the criticism is going to feel like when you not just have a nice car, right, and a happy relationship, but you are now a business owner making multi-million dollars? How guilty do you think these people are going to make you feel then? So if you are still struggling down here with somebody not liking you, you are going to die. What's that? Conflict. One of the things that I heard recently was that you actually make money, more money in corporate America based on your ability to solve conflict.
Right. Yeah.
I don't get paid to push paper, to sign documents. I don't have to go to work for 16 hours to make an impact.
Right.
My impact can happen in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
With one decision.
That's right.
Yes or no. Yes, this is a good person to hire. No, that's a bad person.
Right.
So you start to get power based on your ability to handle conflict.
Right.
When you cannot resolve a conflict with your child, when your 3-year-old or your 5-year-old or your 7-year-old is running you, and you're sitting there trying to justify to somebody that is not paying rent, not paying a car note, not buying clothes, can't go to the restroom without you, can't eat without you. You're trying to make them feel okay with a decision you got to make. How are you going to deal with grown people that are coming to you, telling you they are the victims of sexual harassment and one of your employees had something to do with it? They're out lying on you, and you want to go from here to here? You got to know how to handle conflict. You got to know how to handle controversy. Oh my God, we just got through dealing with some of this. See, what do you mean? See, controversy is that which is not cut and dry. If it was cut and dry, it wouldn't be a controversy. See, truth is what it is. But a controversy means we're not really sure. We're not really certain. And people want to entangle you in that. And that's a waste of your time. See, just because you get your manifestation doesn't mean that your mind science is over.
It's not done. It's not done.
Oh man, this is some good teaching.
No,
Get me the MP3. Look, once we come together as a couple, another mind science must begin.
That's right.
This is the sustaining science, not the growth science, not the planting science, not the investment science, but the sustaining science, the multiplication mention science. Oh, y'all got to see this, man. So when you were in kindergarten, you just put together the numbers.
Yup.
1, 2, 3, right?
Yup.
Then you went up another level, and you had to add them.
Yup.
Is that right?
Right.
Then you went up another level, you had to multiply them. Then you had to put them into expressions of algebraic equations.
Yup.
Then you had various branches of science. Am I going into geometry? Am I going into trigonometry? Where am I going based on what my purpose is? Are you seeing it?
Yup.
So once you get to a particular manifestation, it's not over. You still have to be able to employ the science to sustain that level and multiply. Because if you think that you're going to be able to just sit here and there is a place called there, you're crazy. See, you're not ready. As long as you think, okay, once I get here, I'll be happy. No. See, you can never allow yourself to think that there's a place called there because the universe is constantly expanding and so much you. So there's not a happy space in a relationship where you get there and you just stay there. And we're just going to be happy forever, ever after. Hell no. No. You can't stop giving flowers now.
Right.
You can't stop teaching the little fella now. You're going to be teaching him for the rest of your life. Now you got to hear this. Parenting is not from 0 to 18. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait till they get out the house. They grow. No. That's not the way it works. And if you think like that, you will start making mistakes at 14 and 13 trying to get to 18.
Yeah.
But if you, if you understand that it's a continuous process and it never ends, then you'll get power. You got to be able to handle controversy.
Yep.
You got to be able to handle when your name is in stuff and people talking about you real bad. And people putting you down and people saying you unfair and you make bad decisions and they don't like you. They never needed you nowhere. Oh man, I'll never go back over there again. All of that stuff. You got to be able to handle that. You can't come out to the rest of the employees and be like, I'm sad to say this. I had to let somebody go. I'm so sorry. No. You got to be strong, man. Powerful. You got to put those things behind you and press forward toward the mark. Because that's what the universe does. The universe don't go backtrack and say, oh man, we messed up the 1800s. Let's go back. Oh man, that was jacked up. What happened in slavery? Let's go back. No, the universe keeps going. Time keeps going. Doesn't it do it? You got to be able to handle controversy. And within that controversy is criticism. Criticism probably should have came first. Criticism. You're going to get criticized. Can you take somebody criticizing your product? Can you take somebody criticizing your product that you just spent 15 years developing? 5 years developing? I don't like that. I don't like the feel. You know, it's not African enough. It's not indigenous enough. Why do you incorporate Sanskrit in your discussion and why do you use this particular term or that particular term?
That's right.
Huh?
Right.
Why can't I sell my products in it? You can't care about criticism. And look, if you can't handle criticism on a 5-figure income, you ain't gonna be able to handle criticism on a 6-figure income. Because with every level you go up, the level of criticism goes up, not in quantity. Say not in quantity, but quality. In other words, you start to meet people that are expert criticizers. In other words, they start to become more adept in science and they start to look at you in a way where they analyze where they can criticize you and it'll hurt. Not where they can criticize you and it'll be true. No. Where can I criticize criticize you and it will cripple you? Where can I criticize you and it'll make you quit so I can get that position, or I can get your man, or I can get your... How can I criticize you so you'll give up the car? So you'll give up the business?
Wow.
How can I who can I talk to? My criticism doesn't have to be straight to you. Who can I talk to in criticizing you that will get back to somebody you know that you respect? Because you don't care about me criticizing. I mean, you got over that on that level. But if I can talk to somebody you care about and they get hit, if I could get them to criticize you or doubt you, then I know I can really hurt you.
Wow.
See, if you fall from this level, you might survive. But if you fall from up here, that's why the universe got to get you ready. That's why it's been a little rough on you. That's why it's been a little slow. That's why the workout's been a little hard. That's why you've been a little stagnated, because you got to get your mind right.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you're talking about being the best ever.
Yes.
And if you're going to be the best ever, you got to be able to take expert criticism. Expert pressure. Think you got pressure? You got 2-3 people working for you or working under you? No. What about when you got the pressure of hundreds of millions of dollars? And one move that you make can end not only your company, but take away the jobs of tens of thousands of people. Huh? Can you take that kind of pressure? Can you take the kind of pressure of knowing that you have been called into ministry and that you have been given a divine order to do something? And then one move you make that stops this divine work now could have thousands, tens of thousands of people that you could have saved from suicide. You could have saved little girls from molestation, from rape. And you got to make a decision that could end that today. And you got to have so much faith in the standard that God has given you, that you trust God above the pressure. Huh?
What?
Can you handle the pressure of the level of manifestation that you want to go to? When you become the best, can you handle these things? So look, we have to move then. If we're going to keep moving up that ladder, we have to move beyond the unsophisticated reactions we've had in the past. First of all righteousness or right thought must be fulfilled at each level. The old mind must die, and the new mind must be raised to life. This is baptism. You know how to give. We ain't talking about no water. We're talking about being baptized in experience. Baptized in opposition, in conflict, in controversy, in criticism, in pressure, and brought up without flaw. Tried by fire and coming forth as pure gold. Can you do it and still maintain a purity of mind? Once you're able to do that, you will have removed unsophisticated reactions. If you still want to fight, you still want to drive over their house, get in a fight, you're not ready for that level. The media will eat you up on that level. Oh, y'all got to hear this. I mean, your child has an opportunity to be in a political office, and you're going to mess that up, getting in a fist fight in the parking lot over a parking space? You're not ready. You're not ready? Somebody said something you didn't like? You getting your bat and your 9 driving over there? You ain't ready. You're not ready. She said that the water need to roll off. Is that right? Ain't that what she said? Well, look, in order for you to get to this level, you can't react to everything people say and everything people do. People will call you a fool, right? Say you making a big mistake, you crazy, and you'll be afraid. Do you know you can be afraid to be happy? You'll get manifestation and have so much of this other stuff that you'll be afraid to celebrate.
Yes.
But that's mind science. You got to celebrate anyway. You got to celebrate even harder.
Yeah. Right.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Because when you start celebrating your manifestation has its frequency raised.
Yeah.
You see this?
Yes.
We got to get past unsophisticated reactions. We have to learn that we have learned when we act out of the unsavory actions of other people. We must learn to use systematic means to achieve results. That's our pedigree. We got to be class.
Yeah. Right.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
You got to be class now.
Yeah.
See, class ain't marching.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Class ain't protesting. Class is shutting your company down by boycott without a warning. We don't need to threaten you. Look, when they took the Asian brother off of the airplane,
Yeah.
the Asian community overnight stopped flying that airline. They didn't care how much it cost. They didn't care if they didn't get there for their business trip because they were of one mind. And that mind was, you will not get another dollar out of us, right, after you treat us like this. I guarantee you right now, if you're Asian and you walk up to that airline, they will give you a first class seat or whatever you need above everybody else because they realize what level of population. So you won't be a minority anymore when you stop acting like one.
Thank you.
You got to stop this unsophisticated reaction.
Yes.
This public display of incompetence. This public display of begging and pleading and letting everybody in the world know that somebody is ruling you.
Yeah. Right.
Let us go into our laboratory and plan wisely against our enemy.
Yeah.
And let us come out not asking them for nothing but taking what we want. What already belongs to us. Come on, man. Look at your neighbor and say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
How do you do this? You got to learn to live and work in a constant state of meditation.
Yes.
Constantly advocating and remembering inwardly that the science of mind is the greatest science that is ever been given to human beings. That the mind is the Jesus. That the mind is the purpose. That the mind is the manifestation. And that the way has already been made by your value system. That your conscience is not just something you should ignore, but is a voice crying out in the wilderness. Make straight the path of the mind so that the purpose can be manifested into this world. Make straight this path for my purpose and my manifestation to be seen. That's what John is doing. When you are in the current of pleasure-giving effort in every possible act, your force works more and more on others night and day. So not only we must be in a state of meditation, but because we know the science is going to work, we can be joyful givers. So what happens now in another section of this is we go to work mad. We go to work mad. We don't want to be there. We complain about our jobs. We complain about our supervisor. We complain about everybody that's connected to it and not realizing that that is disrupting the flow of that manifestation. I literally have to psych myself out. Psych myself out. To feel like what I'm doing is wonderful. I love my job. You can be you can just be fuming. Don't you let it come out. Back it up. Re-engineer it. I love this work. You love this work if for no other reason. You love this work if for no other reason than that work is sponsoring this. If this work is going to get me this,
I'm going to love it.
If this work, if working security will get me this.
I'm going to love it.
Did you hear what I said? If digging ditches going to get me that.
I love it.
I love it. And people will start looking at me, man, what's wrong with you? Did you hear we got to work 3 hours over? Oh, I'm just gonna take this time just to be in the silence, man. Man, you crazy. Yeah, you out your mind.
You right.
You out of this world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you so much that I'm not in this world, even though I'm living in it. I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. Thank you. There it is. So you have to get to this point where everything you do with pleasure in every possible act. And what happens is, this is the promise. Your force works more and more on others, night and day.
Yeah.
See, this is the Great Commission.
Right.
So the purpose, the enlightened mind, the manifestation, says to all of the other faculties in your mind, right? It says to all of the other thoughts in your mind, go into all of the world and make disciples of this manifestation. This is what is happening. Y'all gonna catch that in a minute.
No.
This is what is happening at night in between wakefulness and sleep. In that moment, just before you drift off to sleep, when you put your mind, after everything you've been through all day, pressure, criticism, controversy, conflict, opposition, and you overcome all of those nails, all of those thorns, right?
Yeah.
To still focus on what you want to manifest, then while you are asleep, over that time period, your thoughts and faculties will leave your body and travel to the minds of people who will support your business, elevate your life, and when you wake up in the morning, the path will have already been taken care of for you.
Wow.
Your body will already be responding overnight, being healed overnight, so that you can experience the manifestation the next day. Do you see this? So that's right action. Now, train, and going along the same line, train all the thoughts of your mind to work for your purpose. So you no longer have slack thinking. We had a discussion the other night about slack talk. That's elementary. Don't slack think. Just think about anything for just no reason. Right? Every time you think, every time you start thinking, think by design. And if you're going to think and take a break off your manifestation, when you take a break off your manifestation, design how you're going to take that break. You understand? And let yourself know that I'm taking this break off my thinking of my manifestation and living within my manifestation so that I can rest my mind. That's the only reason I'm doing it. And I'm going to do it for a period of time, and then I'm going to get right back into my state. You understand?
It's powerful.
So you think by design. Now, what else do we mean by design? Have a standard. You need to know when it comes to that manifestation that you need to have specific characteristics that you want to see that manifestation come into being with. In other words, I don't want to diminish my manifestation. I don't want to diminish it and say I'll take it any kind of way to get it. I want it to come a specific kind of way. I have standards for how it's supposed to be, and I'm not going to accept less than that.
There you go.
If I said, for example, on a very elementary level, if I said I want a Bentley, right? I'm not going to accept a Mercedes instead. And say I'm just grateful for this. No. Because once you do that, that's blasphemy. That's betrayal of the science. You have to say, this is what I want. This is how I want it. This is how much it's going to cost. And this is how I'm going to feel when I get it. And you have to expect that and manifest it that way. When you think like this, when those enemies come in like a flood, the mind will lift up a standard against those enemies. And they will have to take flight. That's the promise. If you don't neglect what is in your mind in the science, then and you lift up that standard, they'll have to take flight. Number 2, have rules and conditions for how you want to receive the manifestation. You want it honorably, and you want it with purity of heart. Whatever you get, whatever you manifest, you don't want to have to look over your shoulder. Right? You don't want to have to run. You don't want to have to hide. You understand? Next, determine the emotional outcomes. What feeling does your manifestation invoke in you? Next set of instructions. And you can get this PDF from the jail.
Oh, yes.
You don't get all of the notes. We train all our thoughts to work for our purpose. Next set of instructions. In working towards my manifestation, my actions will. This is extremely important. Stop rushing.
Yeah, right.
Not just rushing for your manifestation, but stop rushing through life. Because when you're always feeling like you're in a hurry and you got to be somewhere, you're saying that time is greater than you.
Right.
And I had to learn this because I had been around some people that would mess up stuff if I didn't get there in a certain amount of time. And I was always trying to get there before they did something crazy.
Right.
You got to stop rushing. Stop rushing. Never rush. If somebody wants you to make a decision, they can't give you 24 hours to make it, don't make the decision. You say, but I'm missing an opportunity. Then it's not the right opportunity. Nobody should rush you. You don't rush God. Never be negative. Never be perverted.
That's right.
You have to remove these things from your psychology in order for your manifestation to speed up. I realize I must make no assumptions but establish a predetermined truth in each outcome based on the architecture of what I want. So, I'm going to stop assuming people don't like me.
Right, that's right.
You don't see assumptions. You know what they say, what they make you, right?
That's what they say.
You have to stop assuming that people have anything negative. Even if you think they may fall into one of these categories, do not assume that. I didn't say trust them. Did he say trust them?
No.
I didn't say trust them. I'm just saying don't assume the negative. I didn't say give them the benefit of the doubt or something positive. Did I? I said don't assume. Don't assign emotions to people.
Yes. Yeah.
Because when you assign emotions to people, what ends up happening is they live up to that.
That's it.
Especially when it's negative.
Plain thoughts.
Okay? I literally, now when you don't make assumptions, this is what you get power to do. I literally instruct the minds of people in the composition of matter to obey my righteous command. Now, we've gone full circle. I told you earlier, this is what people do to you.
That's right.
Now I'm telling you to do it to them. Now, you might say, oh my God, that's evil. No. Look at what it says. I instruct the minds of people in the composition of matter. Not just people. Your car, your house, everything is energy. All of that must obey you. If you tell that house you need to sell for $450,000, that house needs to sell for $400,000. That house will literally reconstruct how it looks. Am I lying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It will your whole. See, you have to understand. Don't limit this science to just people. Speak to matter. Speak to everything. Got it? Do it. Instruct the minds of people in the composition of matter to obey your righteous command. It's righteous. You're not wishing them any ill. You're just manifesting your will, and your will is righteous. I told you don't be rushed. I told you don't be negative. I told you don't be perverted. I told you that you're God. So why should you have what you want? You've met all the criteria. Now don't start getting scared now that you've met all the criteria. You have good intent. You wish well for them. So now they must obey you. You say, well, I don't know if that works. Oh, it works.
Oh,
It is your right as the God of your own atmosphere to have what you want to have and be who you want to be.
That's right.
And you do not have to actually travel anywhere to do it. You just need to see it in your mind. Here's the scriptural proof. The centurion replied, Lord, or mine, I do not deserve for you to come under my roof. Just say the word and my servant will be healed. In other words, your mental power can travel.
That's right.
Anywhere it needs to travel. And do whatever it needs to do to create the destiny you want to have. My relationships, next, my relationships must match my science. My relationships must match my science. It's the last point. Stand up for a second. Stand up for a second. Take a deep breath in. raise your hands up. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. One more deep breath in. Exhale. All right, slowly be seated. This is your last point for the day. I want you to get this. Say to your neighbor, I need to get this. Better said, I got this. I got this.
I got this.
My relationships must match my signs. So this is your last point for the day. Now listen. You must manifest this. Attract people that need what you have to offer. And offer what you need. Now, you have to know the difference between infatuation and need. Because a lot of times, what we're infatuated with is not what we need. And what we are infatuated with is not even capable or not even in the category of person that we need. See, if you, for example, just as an example, if you need a wife, right? A person that is a good wife, somebody that supports you, that strengthens you, that encourages you, right? Is not necessarily somebody in a vein that want to run the street all day, every day. You might not like hearing that, but that's the truth. If you want a husband that cut the yard, take care of the kids, right? Maybe cook a little something,